Private prosecutor and attorney-at-law Glenn Hanoman was flayed in the courtroom of Magistrate Faith Magusti on Friday morning by attorneys-at-law Nigel Hughes and Neil Boston. Hanoman is prosecuting the charges brought against the Chief Elections Officer of the Ghana Elections Commission, Keith Lowenfield. Mr. Lowenfield appeared in the Georgetown Magistrates Court to answer to 3 private charges filed by the PPP. Attorneys by Mr. Lowenfield accused Hanoman of transforming a court of law into a political arena, saying that Hanoman and his team are ill-prepared for the matter.
Mr. Hanoman said he had no objections to the bill, but then proceeded to make a series of what I would consider political statements, suggesting that somehow or the other Mr. Lowenfield was going to remove official documents from GCOM, to which we took strenuous objections. One of the concerns that we had in the court, that we repeatedly expressed to the court, was the fact that we did not want the court to become a forum for a political battle, and there were sufficiently senior lawyers who were present to keep this within the confines of the law. They continued to persist in the political statements they were making.
PPP's Desmond Morian and the New Movement's Josh Kanai are the complainants, alleging fraud and misconduct in the submission of the CEO's June 23 elections report. Prosecutor Hanoman wanted the magistrate to release Lowenfield on a substantial bail amount. He also wanted senior counsel Neil Boston to be called as a witness.
Naturally, we had very strenuous objections to this, because normally what we would do is you would have statements from your witnesses long in advance. You would have at least had the courtesy of contacting him beforehand. And I think the ploy was disclosed for what it was. He was attempting to get Mr. Boston off of the case. He was attempting to gain some level of mileage, I believe, in your area of business, the media, by suggesting that he was going to call Mr. Boston. Mr. Boston got up, defended himself, and maybe Mr. Hanoman has forgotten that the privilege that Mr. Lowenfield enjoys as a client of Mr. Boston is his. And if Mr. Lowenfield does not release Mr. Boston, there's no way he can possibly become a witness for the state.
Hanoman claims to be in possession of some 800 statements, yet the prosecution was not yet ready to commence the matter, burdening the court without evidence as put by senior counsel Neil Boston.
This 3 summons that were brought against Mr. Lowenfield, I can describe, they have no other value than nuisance value. To support the nuisance value of the charges, Mr. Hanoman made a political speech all the time. I thought he was at Babujan or he was at Luziknan, because if you're going to apply to the court, you're saying you have no objection to bail, and at the same time you're saying bail should be in a massive amount because Mr. Lowenfield has property at Wales on the West Bank. He has more than 1 houses. That's not how it is done.
Magistrate Faith Magusti put down the matter for August 14, 2020, by which time prosecutor attorney-at-law Glenn Hanoman is expected to obtain and submit copies of witness statements. Mr. Lowenfield's appearance in court was met with some protesters with loud chants of valid votes only. The CEO was granted bail in the sum of $450,000, $150,000 for each of the 3 charges. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.